But I wanted to go to the issue of the protests that have been taking place. You teach at the University of Puerto Rico, where students have been striking on and off for months to protest budget cuts, fee hikes, school privatization. In February, speaking on the House floor, Democratic Congressmember Luis Gutierrez of Illinois, who's Puerto Rican, condemned the police crackdown on Puerto Rico, on these student activists.
I want to talk to you today about a part of the world where the rights of citizens of all walks of life to protest and speak their minds is being denied with clubs and pepper spray. A part of the world where a student strike led the university to ban student protests anywhere, anytime on campus. And where when the students protested the crackdown on free speech, they were violently attacked by heavily armed riot police. What faraway land has seen student protests banned, union protesters beaten, and free speech advocates jailed? The United States of America's colony of Puerto Rico.
That was Congressmember Luis Gutierrez speaking on the House floor. I wanted to continue on this issue of police brutality at your university, the University of Puerto Rico. The American Civil Liberties Union called on President Obama to press Puerto Rican leaders about a pattern of police brutality and governmental suppression of First Amendment rights. We reached William Ramirez Hernandez of the ACLU in Puerto Rico last night.
The ACLU of Puerto Rico, beginning back in 2004, began to document a series of reports of police abuse against highly vulnerable communities, such as the Dominican community, homeless people, black community in Loíza. And as of 2008, we began to formally file complaints with the United States Justice Department alleging a patterns and practice of police abuse in Puerto Rico. Now, this was previous to the current administration that just came into effect in 2009 into power. And since the beginning of this new administration, what we've been documenting and alleging is that this new administration has taken the police abuse to a whole different level, where the police is being used in a way that we call sort of like a political police, a police that watchdogs dissidents and goes after protesters and anyone who in any way dissents against this government's policy, so that in any event where there is a mass rally, you'll always find that our SWAT team and our riot squad is there before there is a riot.
That was William Ramirez Hernandez of the ACLU speaking from Puerto Rico. Professor Maritza Stanchich, could you respond to what's happening on your campus as we wrap up?
Yes, I mean, right now campus is quiet because the academic year is over. I want to mention the political prisoner, Oscar Lopez Rivera, that was the focus of a lot of the protests yesterday, who has served 30 years. And there's hopes that possibly Obama could pardon him. And yes, we have been under assault. There's no other way to describe it. Our civil rights and the intimidation and the fear, the climate of fear that has been cultivated over the past year, both at the University of Puerto Rico and at union protests, literally an army has been called out. One of the most amazing things that the ACLU pointed out to me in its recent reports on this is that the police department here is the second largest in the country after the NYPD. I have watched all year my students, my former students protesting, being systematically beaten, arrested, and released. It's been a harrowing experience. There's no other way to describe it. I personally don't think I don't think that this administration would stop at anything if there wasn't some kind of legal intervention like the type that the ACLU is performing. Even if you don't go to the protests, there's a climate of fear about speaking out. One of the reasons I've become vocal is because of this. I've become vocal in response to I have felt myself intimidated, and I have felt myself, among colleagues saying, "Oh, be careful about what you say." And I think that it's one of those dissent is one of those things. If you don't use it, you lose it. And without a doubt, and it continues. The Supreme Court here has been stacked and expanded. The Supreme Court, not just in terms of violent riot police with all the gear showing up at relatively small protests, but the Supreme Court ruled that no protests could occur on our large flagship campus of over 20,000 students. It's been nothing short of a harrowing experience this past year. And
the budget cuts, what would it mean for increase in student fees?
The student fees were increased, $400 a semester, $800 the first semester. It was not only the fees, but the style in which, the provocative style in which they were imposed. The university, despite the budget crisis, the cuts are targeted and they're draconian on purpose. The university is clearly being targeted as a potential enemy. It is unlike, there's no Ivy League in Puerto Rico. This is it. This is the premier institution. And as a result of the fees, about 10,000 students have already dropped out in this worst economic climate. The private universities are much more expensive. Their owners some of them are supporters of Fortunio and campaign contributors of Fortunio, and students will have to become indebted, take out loans in order to be able to go to these other private institutions.
Well, Maritza Stanchich, I want to thank you very much for being with us, Associate Professor of English at the University of Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras campus. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report.